Hey, Ghost Machine fans, this one's for you.
Welcome to the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast, episode 89. Auntie Raina needs to nab her brother Roland to save hubby Jacob, and she's in hot pursuit of our favorite family, landing them all in the desert? It's New Year's Eve and our last podcast of 2025, and there's nothing I'd rather be doing than reviewing this book with y'all and my partner in crime, Nick. And as always, I'm Snoggle. How are you doing?
You really play that up well, like as if we're making this very big sacrifice. We do indeed, because we often talk about these issues. We try to always talk about these issues when they're released, even though that's not what we're doing this time because we have some catching up to do. It is typically the case that we would be recording a few days prior to the date of air. So this episode will air on New Year's Eve, and we will be doing nothing but reminiscing about it on New Year's Eve. But we are in fact recording a few days prior.
Oh, 100%.
And we shout out our friends, which is what we need to do to kick this one off, just like we always do. And this time we're shouting out a retailer, rather well-known retailer on the West Coast. It's Collector's Paradise. Xavier Fernandez, who is a regular collaborator and contributor to the Ghost Machine fans community at large. That is his local comic book shop of choice, as it is my understanding. And they recently collaborated with he and we on a post about Sisterhood 5's release. That was super cool. Xavier's been making videos literally since well before we started doing this. He was the inspiration for some of the stuff we did in the beginning. And it's really cool to see the retailer collaborate with him. And they're a really well-known retailer out there. So make sure to check them out too.
Very good shout out.
Very good. Glad I have your approval. But now it's time for you to give us the news.
This is the last news report of 2025 because, as we know, today is New Year's Eve. And hopefully part of your resolutions is to not miss any of these Ghost Machine books that are coming out this year. But as of last week, there has been a new Ghost Machine series announced, which is super exciting. The $1 Trillion Kid will be hitting shelves June of 2026. We don't know what universe or the creative team yet, but the tagline is, "Money can't buy everything." We received a great listener mail about this, so we'll dive in deeper at the end of the episode today.
Lots of questions, lots of comments. But the listener mail, like you said, it's just about that. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to parking lot that for the rest of this meeting, and we'll swing back around to it at the end. But it is an exciting thing. Officially, there is another series announced that's coming out in 2026. So hopefully we see that. And First Ghost. But we just don't know the release date yet for First Ghost.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish I was the $1 Trillion Kid.
Well, apparently, money can't buy everything. But our star of the show on this episode of the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast is, in fact, the Rocketfellers 11, which is the most recently released issue of the series. It came out a couple of weeks ago in December, and it is the November issue. And we have two covers to talk about on this bad boy. Have you had a chance to glance at those, Snoggle?
Yes, of course, of course. The cover A is Francis Manipul, and the family has crash landed in their beautiful, iconic yellow ship car thing in the desert. I like one that you can see the shadow of Raina, and then that lizard is just the expression on the lizard's face is pretty epic, in my opinion. Like, what?
And that lizard first appeared at the last issue, and he doesn't make it through this issue, I think, if I remember correctly.
No. R.I.P. the lizard.
But that van ship has like that engine thing strapped to the top of it, which is how it was rocketing them through wherever. But this one, yes, it's all Francis, pencils, inks, and colors. Francis Manipool getting it done as usual. And the B cover is by Jesus Marino, and colors are from Maury Hollowell. So we've seen this pair on a couple of other covers. It's the family in the van, but from the side of it, and they're traveling like it's going. I really like how Rex's head is detached. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he's like hanging his head out the window like a dog with his tongue, but his cybernetic neck is stretched out. So it's like, I don't know what you call that, but it's like pairing something normal with something that you're not used to seeing there or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know why, and I don't really have a good explanation for this, but this cover feels very 80s to me.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe it's an homage to something, for all we know.
I think just the stash on Raymond reminds me of like an 80s stash.
Yeah, he does definitely have the Tom Selleck thing going on.
Uh-huh.
And then this does have Richie flying by in his jump boots, and then you can see the rocket thing on the top of the van. So it's cool. I would enjoy seeing more work from these two artists for sure. And if you haven't picked up your copy of the Rocketfellers number 11, those are your two options. It's the A and B cover. So make sure to pause this podcast right now if you haven't done that. Rush on out to that store, snag that book, and come on back, because this is your official spoiler pause for the Rocketfellers number 11. All right, we're here. We're going to digest this chase scene situation. Snoggle, before you catch us up on why we have a van crashing into the desert, can you give us a creator roll call?
Last creator roll call of 2025. So we've got Peter J. Tomasi, story and words, Francis Manipal, story and art, and then we've got Rob Lee, our king of letters.
We do. Rob Lee transcends all boundaries.
He does.
It starts out right with them. Most of them are upside down. We get these great 6 panels of Roland, Rachel, Richie, Ray, Rodney, and Rex.
And the birds.
And the birds are still with her. Yes, I like that.
I like in these 6 panels, they're all checking on each other, but the bark is going all throughout the panels. It creates some like motion to while this is happening and they're checking on each other. The dog has seriously bark, 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 but like a dog. I hope the dog barks and just says bark.
We get lots of sounds from Rob, though. We get barks, but we also get growls, and we get a lot of R's, and we get some R's and A's together, and some G's and R's together. So it's all dog noises amidst all of that. You're right. Mm-hmm. Six panels of dog noises as well. And we see the first 4 of them upside down, then Grandpa's like sideways, and then Rex is normal. And so it gives me a sense of like they've crashed, right? Like they're all like that, either tumbling or that is the way that they landed. And that is beautifully illustrated, literally beautifully illustrated on the splash page we get of the 3 panels, like this 2-page spread on page 2. And they got to get out because the van landed, I guess, with its front down, but it's going to tip over. And it gives Francis the opportunity to do another one of those awesome, the Rocketfellers logos in the image, which I really appreciate that.
In the sand, as everything is being discombobulated. That's beautiful art right there. the speckles.
It's beautiful art, but it also is exclusively for a comic book experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I really appreciate that. And this is also another on the middle panel on the left. We do see the first like dialogue from the fabled lizard that we've been talking about. It says meep bleep or whatever.
Yeah.
How did they get here? Right, they were running from Raina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they strapped that thing to the top of the van, and then they went.
Yep, they were attempting to time jump again, but they had to get away first. So now that they're out of the van, everything's kind of fallen over. They're checking in with his brother, Reggie.
They are, and they're doing that because they have this like cross time communicator hollow thing. Like they can even see his like face a little bit through time. And so it does clarify this is the 21st century. It says Trinity Test Site, and it's in New Mexico, because that's significant. The Trinity piece too is part of it all. But right away, Richie is like, no, I'm done. I got to salvage a bunch of stuff and build a suit to get the heck out of here. And it's like, what? Oh, okay. I mean, Richie also gives the impression. Did you notice there's a line of dialogue where he says, when he's upset with his dad and his dad's trying to convince him, his dad says, I'm not sure what you've been working on, son, but once we get home, he's like, don't worry about whatever you're talking about. Don't worry about don't do that. He's like, no, are you kidding? We're not going anywhere. We'll just keep running and hiding like always. And like, to me, that sounds like, are we going to hear about other travels that they've had? Because I thought this was the first time, you know what I mean, that they had run. And then this was.
Well, I think there was some times in between.
That would be cool.
The place that they were just at, because it does seem that Raina is consistently trying to find them. And it's, the time zone portal is like open and accessible, which Reggie tells them, but someone hacked into the energy signature. So that's how they're pretty sure, like, hey, we gotta go. Raina's on her way.
We think Raina's locked on your zone portal and leaping right to your exact spot, which is when we see her literally do so.
Uncle Reggie and Richie are both telling him that. And then the whole family kind of is like, your dad's doing the best you can. Stop blaming daddy. If he says he can get us back, he will. And this line, it kind of broke my heart because, he's an angry teenage boy. The only place dad's going back to is the basement so he can work on that eyeball he's still carrying around. Ugh.
That's heartbreaking. And that is also the reason that we, like, just to do a little personal aside, Ghost Machine fans, all activity related to this podcast and editing it and the social media stuff takes place primarily after our child is asleep. Because I never want him to feel like I go to my lab instead of play catch with him and all the other wonderful things. So,
and we know what he's saying is true. He said everything I've been doing is because I love you all. He's trying to fix his mistake. He's probably trying to fix the problem with the technology. And, his intentions are very good. For Richie to come back and say, yeah, well, then maybe stop loving us so much. And then he runs away. Yeah,
it's a tough one. You're right. There's a sense of urgency here because Reggie on the communicator is like, let's go. Raina's coming. And then we get this awesome, like, Rob Lee sounds and all this kind of stuff page with Raina coming in through a portal, like a jump or whatever. And then they're like, oh, we got to go. Except one of them decides not to run away.
And it's like they all are beginning to run. We've got Mom move before Raina climbs from the wreckage. Rex grabs Ray. They're all running towards Richie. And he says, Rachel, why are you stopping? And all of them can see that Ray is talking to her Aunt Raina. And you have to understand, like, one of the things I like about the emotion on all of their faces, because we cannot forget she killed her own mother. And, that's where would it stop? That's what they have to be thinking. Oh, gosh.
And later she despicably makes a comment about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
And I do think it's very sweet. Rex is worried you might still want to hurt us, and I'm kind of worried too.
And this is where a rather significant detail comes.
Yeah.
So it seems like creepy villain just trying to take advantage of a trusting kid at first. And then as they're going back and forth, Ray says she's talking about the nice things they used to do together. And Raina goes, yes, the Ray days, those were special. And Ray says, and it'll be even more special when you come live with us. And then Raina says, live with you, question mark? What are you talking about, question mark? And Ray says, I see us all eating dinner with you, and then it trails off.
Yeah. Because everyone is like, get away from her. She's trying to confuse you. She's being a villain. And I really think in that moment, I don't think that's what she was doing.
I don't think she was either, but it's the third or fourth time that we have seen Ray exhibit clairvoyance. So there is a significant, and it's happened, everything has come to be before whenever she's kind of alluded to it. So there is some future or something or some event where that she comes home and they're like eating dinner together somehow. I don't know how that is, but I mean, it could be something horrible, like they come visit her in prison sometime, or who knows. But
it's interesting because she says, I can be trusted. I can't be trusted, going on about having to save Jacob. And then says again, your mother's right. I can't be trusted. And then goes back and says she can be. But here's what, and I love how this ends, like this art where she's looking at her aunt and she goes, aren't you tired of having all that anger in your heart? Such a sweet, innocent thing to say. And I do believe what happened next knocks Raina kind of back to being like angry. But I have some ideas about that. Do we think that she's slightly being controlled by Jacob through the nanobots? Like they're connected now?
That's the thing. I think that the I can't be the back and forth. It seems like she has a consciousness. It's not as though she has two personalities. Like it doesn't come across as like two-faced to me. It comes across as like something's trying to dominate her will. And because we do know from the bio at the end that Jacob is directly connected to the network, I would think that there is some degree of that. Yeah. And it could be the type of thing that maybe Raina realizes it and it tips her the other way or something one day. You know what I mean? Like she realizes, oh, wait, you've been forcing me to do these things this whole time. You don't love me. And that's how she ends up back at the dinner table. I don't know. We'll find out.
To be determined. I do love that as this, right during this beautiful scene, obviously, her fabulous brother comes back and didn't really know what was happening. Get away from my sister, and just pummels her in the face. He's in that sweet suit.
Yeah, his super suit. We thought he was going to go make a time machine, and he came back with like a super mech suit. He doesn't know that they were like kind of almost having a productive conversation. And to your point, that makes her go back to super Darth Raina mode. But did you notice how in the panel after she got knocked, you see underneath it for a little bit? That's like a cool image with half of her mask broken because it reminds you there is flesh there.
Yeah, and she says, let Ray make me believe that, and then screams, shut up, enough excuses.
Yeah.
As our poor lizard, who will never see 2026, gets splacked. But I really genuinely think that shut up is like whomever's controlling her. I do believe it is her despicable husband.
Yes, because and we don't get any sense of other than a person like talking to themselves at this point, but that's what I see it as. I don't see it as like she happens to have a part of herself that beats herself up a lot for not getting it done or whatever. But I do like how the lizard has been this like background character for just a little bit, and this is what happens. I just felt like it's like the type of thing that if I could have a cup of coffee with Francis, I'd be like, so what was the story with the lizard? Like, does Peter even involved, or did you just want to put a lizard?
It's kind of like the Squirrel on Ice Age,
like because it comes around all the time, and then
not really a part of the movie, but like kind of a part of the movie, just like the beginning sequence before the movie.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh, like not necessary to the plot at all, but definitely feels needed.
Right.
So yay the lizard, but rip.
Splack. And so they get away with Richie's help. They all like jump on his mech suit and they're flying away though. They're not like time porting away yet. And Reggie is trying to get them out, right? But the time zone portal is being jammed, and he's saying we can't jump you guys. And then parallel to that, we see the Emperor Jacob on his throne, right? The Pink Emperor.
Yeah.
And he's communicating with her via these like thought bubbles in the neural network. And he's saying the same thing, that he's being hacked and he can't initiate a time zone transfer to get her back. And she's like, doesn't matter anyway. I don't have Roland. Don't even think about doing it. I need to get him. Don't pull me back anyway. I'm not ready.
I'm wondering if the communication just happens simultaneously between them. Because I don't see any devices. I don't see anything he's clicking. And those bubbles, I don't know. What I will say is I love you dearly. You are my husband. But if something happened to you and you were some weird pile of goo and eyeballs, I would probably start to at some point be like, this man's not coming back.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy to me. And I will be interested, by the way, is like what's going on. Does the rest of the world in his time know that he is that?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he's like a celebrity.
Oh, because of his affiliation with the organization?
Yeah, he's, Chronix. He's
right.
in charge of that. He's done all these things, invented all this stuff. Like, people love him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I see your point. No, that's a good point. Yeah, and then because it does say when he goes to his throne room, Chronix headquarters. So they're still in operation. Presumably, maybe he would just come out of the public eye. I think that's a cool world building question.
Yeah.
But he is like literally connected to the chair with a hose. And in the bio later, it says he's connected to the neural network. So I think you're absolutely right. He's just able to communicate with her.
Yeah.
Even though, regardless of when or where she is. And then we kick back to the 21st century because the whole family is riding Rex's suit as he flies away. I love how the bird stayed. I love how Ray held onto her frog. Just a lot of care taken to when Francis does these things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's really well juxtaposed with this fellow working at the gas station who looks like he's reading a magazine or a comic book until the bell rings.
Yeah.
Did you notice a little bit of like, I don't know if you call it rapport building or whatever, but Mom compliments Richie's entry, descent, and landing with his suit.
She calls it an EDL.
She does. And it's like, okay, well, if you're rebelling against Dad, are you going to become like, develop a relationship with your mom or something? Like, and that'll help you get out of stealing gajillions of dollars from evil people that we haven't, encountered again for a little while. Maybe that's who's hacking everybody. Who knows? So they're at this gas station and it's kind of like a pause, and they make a point to say that, right? Like we have a little bit of time now. We got to figure out what we're going to do. And I just feel like this is very Tomasi. The gas station attendant, instead of like coming out and saying, oh my gosh, aliens, and like driving off like in a whatever movie.
Yeah.
He's just like, all right, how do I put gas in your suit, man?
I love he leaded or unleaded. Richie says 0 point energy from a quantum vacuum would be great. And there's no blink of an eye at that.
Nope,
None.
just the way it is. He does not have that type of fuel, so he does attempt to looks like put gas in it. But the point he's doing that, Richie's not even in it anymore because they snag a truck.
Yes.
And Rachel makes this great comment about how she knows that they're in a small town, so she can find the keys in the visor.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's all these cool little details, like all these Thomasian details. Because when the guy's running after them after they steal his truck, he whips a wrench, and of course the cyborg dog just catches it with no issue. But he catches up to them and he thinks he's stopping some thieves, even though they've got Challengers of the Unknown outfits on, and something else is obviously going on. But that becomes glaringly obvious when the half cyborg futuristic person shows up with the hover bike and the crackling saber.
Yes, this is a family matter. Leave. He said bye.
Yeah, I could understand that. I probably wouldn't fight Raina over that pickup truck, but it looks like it's going to be another fight scene, and then the unexpected happens.
Yeah. Enough. This ends now, and we see everyone's shocked face or determined faces. And then, Dad, you're right, Raina. Enough is enough. Oh, it's so sad. Son, don't. Daddy. Oh, please, Daddy, don't go. Oh my gosh. And like, I understand, but that's still his sister. She's so selfish.
Because it's hard because they probably have no sense of the fact that, and it's still our theory. Like he may not be controlling her. It may just be like the effects of the nanotech is causing this, her personality to split. But to me, it seems like she's being influenced. Yeah. And it would really change my perception if I was them and she had done all these horrible things and I found out that he was able to influence and or control her. It would certainly change my perception of her actions. But she's had a little bit of nano in her for a while, like even back when many before they were married and stuff or whatever. And so like maybe it's been slowly happening over time, or who knows.
Yeah, I don't know, but the goodbye scene between Rachel and him. I love you with all my heart. I love you too. Then the smooch, and then gets broken up by Grandpa. You're done trying to destroy our family.
Yeah, it's super rough because it's like either the tech is taking the darkest parts of a person and making them come out of this person who doesn't seem naturally this way, or it's Jacob influencing her because Grandpa wants to take her down. She's like, no. And then he brings up the fact that she killed her own mother. And she says, I didn't kill her. She's the one who shattered the ice, was willing to drown me, her own daughter, which is very absurd and deflective. And even in that moment, if you recall, Grandma says something to her about how she wouldn't have any remorse, basically, as a result of this. And I don't remember the exact words, but it's like it's a beat, and it's a terrifying beat because Raina admits that in that moment. She admits yeah, I wouldn't really help or whatever. So she's pretty dark in that moment. But ultimately what Roland is saying is he's like, I'll go with her, I'll do what they want, and then hopefully if I recalibrate the temporal fusion capacitor, it'll have enough energy to make one time jump, which means he's saying he's going to take that suit and jump, but there's no guarantee here of what will happen next.
When I read this, and I don't know about you, I just assumed he was lying because the time jump stuff has to happen on that time jump network,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew that his brother was restarting it.
Okay. So you're saying that when he says, if I recalibrate the temporal fugit thing, it'll make one jump, he knows that that's not going to go where they want. I read that as him saying, like, me configuring this will overcome that problem. But I guess they could be mutually exclusive because he's just saying, I can make that suit do a time jump. And your point is that anybody who tries to use that network to do a time jump is going to get messed up. And that he would know that and that he's setting her up, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's why this scene, it feels like, now, this is just my speculation, he is literally saying goodbye, and they don't know his intentions, because he says, and even if I'm not near you, I'll always be with you.
Yeah, there is an implication there that there's something. I saw that. He's like, what does he mean? Is he leaving like a communicator with them or whatever? So I don't know. Because it's foreshadowing a bit, because then they're like, all right, we'll go do this. And him and Raina walk over to the suit. He does what he's got to do. But in the process, he notices like this gasoline, right? Like, and we have a panel where his finger is touching the gasoline. And it's like, okay, so he has a plan, and it involves that. And that helps us understand that this is what is about to happen is intentional.
Yeah, sometimes the father simply has to pay for the sins of his own.
Right. And it applies to the reader. He's willing to kill himself to save them, basically, in what we see soon. What super important detail, as they begin to do what they're going to do, Roland says to Raina, we can't be more than 1 meter apart to enter the same time-space continuum otherwise. And she goes, I'm quite aware of the ramifications. I love it. It's great. That panel is in there for the reader, because that's a specific thing. It's like, hey, this is going to come into play, and that's why it's not going to work out. I have a feeling it's going to be they go somewhere they're not going to be close enough, and that he jumps again or something. I don't know.
He says, of course it'll work. My son and I built it in case of a time jump emergency. And I just didn't think, remember in the beginning of this where he said that he was building, he's like, I don't know what you've been working on. I don't know.
Yeah, there's lots of back and forth. He's obviously trying to get Raina in this position, and he takes off, and they explode, presumably because the gasoline was where it was and all that kind of stuff. And, well, I shouldn't say that. It makes it look like they explode, right? Because we see them going up, 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 and then the third panel where they're up, it's got sparklies, and the sparklies are not like explosion sparklies. They're like, how do you like that? They're not explosion sparklies. They're like technical sparklies or something. Like something else is happening there. But then on the next page, when we got the boom, the big boom of an explosion, there's no those sparklies aren't really there.
Yeah.
And so to me that says something else happened to them. And then we get this great thing on the bottom for the next issue. It says gone, daddy gone. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's an awesome explosion, awesome lettering from Rob. But to me, it means they ported somewhere. There was an explosion. And I feel like they're going to pop into that other place without the suit. And the suit exploded in the 21st century, but they got through the portal or something.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. Did think that bio of the super Dr. Evil Emperor was pretty sweet.
Yeah. He kind of feels like a maniac, like an egomaniac.
Yeah, because even before he develops brain cancer, it says, over time, Jacob discovered there were no more mountains to climb. He felt empty and wept in Raina's arms, lamenting that all the money in the world couldn't give his life any purpose. But then he got brain cancer, and his purpose became to overcome brain cancer by developing an evil technology empire and stealing technology from other people and doing all these bad things to take over the world with nanotechnology.
Kind of the worst, but good villain.
Oh, yeah. And I like his aesthetic. I think it is cool. Your joke about that is very apt and funny. It makes me wonder if they get the tech and they fix these things, could it help restore him to not be just the pink glob guy? I'm not sure. I don't want that to happen, so I guess it
Well,
doesn't matter.
I think it also states like they have no idea how long he's going to be able to last in the state that he's currently in.
And it does point out there, like the neural link. Since Jacob's injuries and organic recovery, he's established a neural link with the technology keeping him alive.
Yeah, and we won't know what happens until February, right?
Well, we won't. Yeah, the next issue is issue 12, and it's the one with the Christmas cover, and it's coming out in February. And it's fun because it does say, when you can time travel, you're never too late for Christmas.
Exciting stuff. Good book.
Yeah, I'm excited for that story. And I mean, it must not be that bad with that kind of happy cover. So I imagine Roland is still alive. That would be pretty rough if they were like, well, no, he's really dead, but we just wanted to use that sweet cover. So it's fine. It's fine. Another awesome issue of the Family Odysseys from Manapool and Tamasi and Lee. Looking forward to the next one. As usual, we're going to wrap things up with a fantastic mail. Snoggle, would you like to read it?
Our fantastic mail comes from friend of the show, Zane, spelled with an X. Zane writes, the $1 trillion kid, y'all have a new series that came out of nowhere. Who will the creative team be? I mean, what are your thoughts? There could be a lot of different people.
Zane with an X. He's an American Gladiator. So this was announced recently, like we said earlier. Just a super important thing before I answer this question. Thank you, Zane, for sending an email to ghostmachinefans@gmail.com. We really appreciate that. We would love to hear from more folks. And this sometimes happens online and stuff. It's never happened in the listener mail before, but this is written in a way that seems to acknowledge us as a ghost machine in some way. And so anytime that happens, I just love to take that opportunity to remind everybody that we are just super fans like you. So thank you so much, Zane, for saying that in that way. But we are just crazy fans of this stuff, just like you are. And so the answer is, I don't know. Because of that, it's interesting because the advert is just this black and green background, and it says, coming in June 2026, the $1 trillion kid, and it says money can't buy everything. So it's a story, I would think, that has to do with someone having all the money that they need in the world and it not getting them everything that they want or whatever. It doesn't indicate if it's going to be part of the Family Odysseys or the Unnamed or Hyde Street or Rook.
Is it limited or is it an ongoing?
I don't know that. Don't know that either.
Because black and green obviously makes me immediately think it will be in the Unnamed.
Yeah, I think that's fair because of the Geiger stuff.
But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is.
Yeah, I think in this case, if it was gonna, I feel like we would know more if that was going to be the case. But I don't know. It could just be its own thing because we do know that Snipe and Slug is getting made as well with Brad Walker and Peter Tomasi. So I don't care if it's more Ghost Machine comics. I'll read them. But the answer to your question is I really don't know. And it seems like the type of concept. We're basing all of this off of a logo and like part of the sentence that was posted online and sent out in an email by Ghost Machine Pro. But I would think it would be, it sounds kind of jovial. So that makes me feel Family Odysseys.
I guess we'll just see, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And in terms of the creative team stuff, like maybe it could be the next thing that Maytal, Layla, and Alex do or something like that. Because I think we've been told they're going to keep doing stuff. I don't know that $1 trillion kid sounds particularly horror-y.
It could be. Money can't buy you everything you want.
Yeah, maybe he's like a character on Hyde Street.
It's like a blank check type situation.
I was talking about this with friend of the show, Michael Schwartz. And I said that it reminded me of Richie Rich or Blank Check from the 90s. And I tell you, that kid got so much stuff for that check in that movie. Like that kid he wrote a check for $1 million and he got like a mansion with a water slide and all this stuff.
Well, I feel like when that movie came out as well, I was so young, I didn't have the concept of money. So $1 million, oh my gosh.
Well, it's still amazing. I mean, it's a huge amount of money, but yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. But made me think
$1 million
of that too.
now may not get you a mansion though.
Not like the one that he had in the movie.
I know, definitely not a slide.
Definitely not a slide. But it's exciting. It's cool because it means expansion for the brand that we love, and any more content of this caliber that they want to make, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
So thanks, Zane, for writing in. We will keep you updated as best we can. This is also a moment where we should take a suggestion that was given to us some time ago by Andy and remind everybody what we're going to talk about on the next episode. So the next one is going to be a catch-up episode on the last issue of Hornsby and Halo, which should get us back on track for new releases that are coming out after that.
We did it.
And if you would like to check out all of our other content, you can do so by going to www.ghostmachinefans.com, where you'll find our wiki on all of our social platforms, fun stuff like that. We would love for you to come hang out on the Discord too. So if you go to the Ghost Machine Comics Reddit, that's in the announcements there. Or if you go to the Ghost Machine Fans Instagram, it is on the bio links thing. It's on there for you. We'd love for you to come hang out on Instagram. We would love for you to come hang out in Discord and chat.
And for the last time in 2025, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Ghost Machine Fans Podcast.
New Year's Eve podcast.